Yo, this is Trav with Trav Sports Bag, and I'm back at it again today with you. And we're getting into some sports as of late and as of seemingly all of the time now. We're on to boxing, but I know why you're here, and you know why you're here. You saw the thumbnail, and the thumbnail is all about that B side of boxing because we're talking boxing once again. And this time we're taking a different direction with the game of boxing. We're going to talk about something that many don't talk about unless they're doing a little bit of arguing. A side, B side. We heard all of this stuff because Floyd Mayweather made it popular in boxing vernacular over the past several years when it used to be just opponent and house fighter. A side, B side seems to be the argument all the time. Everyone wants to be the A side. Everyone believes they are the A side. But without the B side, the A side doesn't get to be the A side that it is. So right now, Andre the Boxer joins us this time around as he joins us on occasion when we do our other boxing talk. He's a professional boxer. He's years deep in his professional boxing career. He was an amateur boxer just as well. And we're going to talk about today being on the B side, not a bad thing, a real thing, and the things that lead to ending up on the B side, because that's where you end up when you don't have the finances, because it is about dollars and cents, not necessarily talent. And we're going to discuss that there today. Andre the Boxer is here with the conversation, talking boxing, because he is one of those guys that has made his living on the B side. But guess what? When you're on the B side, you're in there to lose a fight. They bring you in. They pay you. They pay where you stay. They give you a stipend. They do all of those things for you to lose to their up-and-coming prospect. So when you win, you throw a monkey wrench into a lot of those works. And you've done that several times. Let's talk about the B side.
Hey, what's going on, Travis?
What's going on? Good.
Oh man, life is good. It's good. The B side, yeah, like you said, man, they bring you in so you can lose.
Yes.
Either they want to make the fight competitive, or they want you to get knocked out to make their hometown kid or the fight that they're investing in look good. So, yeah, man, that's the name of the game. There's a B side, there's an A side. When you the B side, they bring you in, they put you in the room, and you're waiting to get slaughtered. That's what it is.
That's
That's the
what it
B
is.
side.
And, and you and I, we've been together in this road in the very beginning, especially, but we still converse about boxing like all the time, even when now later on in your career, you're still in the game. You still
Yeah,
coming off of 2 straight wins on the B side, on the road in a city like Detroit against one of their own. He wanted the
yeah,
rematch. He lost again. Bro, that's the B side at its best.
yeah, man, it is, man. It's one of the things where you go into the jungle and you just say, you know what? It is what it is. It's gonna be what's gonna be, and you just do what you need to do. The way you approach this fight game is how you train. If you go in there in this fight game to make money and you're on the B side, you're not gonna last long. You
Nope.
gotta you gotta see what fight fit you. And that's what I've been doing. See what fight fit me where I'm not taking a lot of damage that I don't have to take. And me and you both, we seen guys who came in a dressing room and they look unprofessional, they look unprepared, they look overweight, and they went in and got knocked out in 1 or 2 rounds.
And I tell you what, man, you've gone through the B side and you've won some, you've lost some. Let the people know how do you navigate being on the B side. You have to have a different mentality because you're going into an uphill battle, going into almost every fight. The promoter's smiling in your face, and they're kind of waiting to sign your death certificate at the same time.
Yeah. It's one of the things where, like you said, the promoter's like, "Hey, I'm glad you're here." They're very nice to you. Like, "Oh, hey, man," and then they'll tell you some nonsense. Hey, the guy who wants you to fight, he ain't that good. He just,
Always.
we fed him some bums. You can take that guy, aka we're telling you this so you can feel comfortable, but in reality you're gonna get slaughtered if you don't know what you're doing. And what I been doing is looking at the fighters and and then one thing you gotta do is you gotta know who you are as a fighter. Are you good at this? Are you good at that? And that's how I'm able to navigate. What I do is no different between any other fighter in boxing or UFC or any other branch. You navigate what you're good at. You navigate, okay, you know what? I can take that guy. I see a weakness. I might can exploit that weakness, and I'm better at that part than he is. And you gotta do your best. And after that, man, the scorecard, everything goes to the judges. Then it happens.
Tell us about the shenanigans that can happen being on the B side. One thing is said on the contract, one thing is said before the fight, but then on fight night or when you get into town, they try to change it around on you. That's happened before.
Yeah, where there's been time where they're like the weight is at 147, and then you get in town, and then you get to the weigh-in. The guy comes in at 156, and then they'll come. Hey, look, we know he's overweight. We'll give you extra money to fight him. We will, you know, they try to give you the running around. Oh man, we gave you a different contract. We took a contract at 154.
Lies.
Yeah, and then sometimes when you go to his hometown, you ask for a scale. Say, yo, you might get a scale. They'll tell you, oh no, it broke. Oh no, we don't have one.
The only skill in town.
And I'm like, really? So if you're coming overweight, then you got sweated off. Yeah, so there's a lot of things where I went to the ATL and they wanted their fighter to fight in their glove. They have their own personal glove, and we could bring our own personal glove too to fight that guy. I'm like, nah, no, 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 no. One, I knew my glove was shot. Only thing he had on my glove was a little bit of padding. That's it.
Yeah.
I,
The
you know
McGregor
that, that's
gloves.
yeah, pretty much. It's like, nah, man, we ain't doing that. And I don't know how his gloves is over there, but they're willing to take advantage of whenever they can.
Now, let's talk about when we went up there to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and how they
Yeah,
tried to switch up on opponents with us after the
yeah,
contract was already signed because the
yeah,
opponent that we were going to fight, which was Danny Lugo, the other guy, I think it's Isaiah, I can't remember his last name, he had a whole bunch of people that he had put in the seats that wanted to see him fight in his debut. And I guess it was more than what Danny Lugo had. And they wanted to, have his people there so that he could win against you. And we had to stand firm on it. I remember telling the promoter, I was like, hey, we'll walk. I was like, hey, Andre has a job. He doesn't have to box and get this money you're giving him. He makes good money at his job. And after a
yeah.
little bit of gamesmanship, we got what we got. And you went up there and won on the B side. And by the way, if they would have given us that guy and we would have fought him, the way he fought
Yeah,
that night, that would have been a win too.
yeah. They tried to switch opponents, and we're like, nah, we don't. Nah, we're gonna stay where we have because I listened to the OGs, Don and Coach Mark, and other
Yeah.
boxers who came before me, and they gave me the heads up. Like, look, if they try to switch on you, don't let them do it, man, because they will try. So we knew about that part, so we was more well prepared. And like, nah, we're gonna fight that guy, and it worked out in our favor because we told them, he only had like 5 amateur fights. Andre Burton not good, so we gave them the BS. They fell for it, and we got him.
And now we could talk about when we had gone over to Finland, outside the
Yeah,
United States, the first time this small town of Vasa had an American coming into their city to fight one of their fighters. And it was a great time there. But I think that fight, well, you already know what happened in the fight. Explain how this fight went. I mean, I worked the corner. They gave us one of their cutmen, and he couldn't even speak English. and we went in there. You pretty much schooled this guy. Not that you won every round, but you won at least 5 of the 6 rounds. I mean, not
Yeah,
being biased, you won 5 of the 6 rounds because I remember yelling
yeah.
when you lost the one round you lost, in my opinion. But what happened?
Yeah, like you said, man, we were in the feeling, and they had this guy as a wrecking ball. Like he's tough and all, and I'm like, okay, I see a lot of flaws, but okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
And we both decided to go to a different country and different life experience. That was cool.
it
But
was.
the night of, but the when it came to the fight, the guy wasn't that strong, and he didn't hit that hard. And he was rugged, but his team knew I beat him. They knew I beat this man. I was like, yo, I looked at him like this guy was pretty easy. He wasn't that difficult.
No. And
Granted, that's my first time going 6 rounds.
yes, that was your first 6 rounder. And that was your third
Yeah,
fight. Well, no, that was your fourth fight. The fourth fight you
yeah,
went in the 6 rounder. You just fought Pinky Cologne right before that in Buffalo. But this was your fourth fight. It was a 6 rounder. It was overseas. And what did the commissioner tell us? The commissioner, because I was yelling so much, I lost my voice. He said, you should know when you come to a foreign country, you can't expect to win. He said that to
yeah,
us after the fight in the locker room.
yeah,
Almost died, man.
yeah. He said, "You come here, you lose." And I looked at him like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
And he's
that's
like, no,
boxing.
yeah, Boston.
And,
I was really like, wow, this is.
and
I mean,
before that fight,
Boston.
yeah.
No, I said boxing is a tricky sport, man. A lot of things you don't know. Like a
Shady.
lot of things I didn't know, but I learned on the fly. I'm like, oh, okay, now I know what to expect on this and that.
The best thing you can do right now is when you do retire, you say you want to get into the game and train young fighters and move them along. You at least
Yeah,
know what it takes to move a fighter along now to avoid the pitfalls and the things boxing has to offer because no one really gives a damn about you in the business other than the people who are around you. And you might have to be a little cockeyed with them. But before we move on to that, this is the picture of the before and after, or the fight after the fight in Finland with Timu, who was out there in Finland. You the day after, him the day
and
after. He was
and
bruised up.
and
And this is the fight
and,
you
and
supposed to have lost.
yeah, and the part is, you look at my eye. That's not from a punch. That's from a headbutt.
Yes. He kept coming in head first.
Yeah, that's from a headbutt. Like I'm blessed that I never took any major injuries or hits.
Cuts and
I
stuff
never
like
been
that.
knocked. I never
Headbutts
been
though.
knocked out. I never been knocked out. Um, I've been headbutted a lot, but I never been knocked out. So I've been fortunate on that end because there's a lot of guys who do get in this boxing game and they get knocked out. They're never the same. It's just
No.
not the same people.
Exactly, because you have a defensive style anyway, and there's
Yeah,
nothing running about it. I mean, you stay in the pocket, you avoid shots, and you're a
yeah,
counter puncher by nature. So I mean, so you
yeah.
pick the shots pretty clean. You've been a little bit more aggressive in your later years, so you do go after guys. And speaking of going after guys, there was a time once upon a time when you went up to, I believe, Washington D.C. You fought an
Yeah,
undefeated fighter who was his own promoter. It was his card, and you beat the guy
yeah.
in his own spot. How the hell does that happen when you have the legitimate A side and B side?
Well, once again, it go back to like I said before, you gotta pick your spots. When I saw this guy, I look at his record because we could have boxed and you hear a guy like, oh, yeah, I'm 20-0 with 19 knockouts or 20 knockouts. That sounds good. But when you look at the opponents that they fought,
Yep.
oh, okay, you fought that homeless guy, you fought that school teacher, you fought, you you fought your neighbor. Okay, so that's what's going on here. So when you look at that, that tells you that okay, this guy is not legit a knockout artist. This guy really he just pick his opponents very well when they make him look good. And that's what Boston is really about, making yourself look good when it comes to your record. And I also knew that he was a little bit older than I was. And when I watched his fight, he was timid.
But you do know
He was
boxing.
timid.
I mean, but you've been around boxing long enough to know that
Yeah,
it does not even matter Whether the guy looks timid, it doesn't matter if he legitimately loses. They still will give him the fight. And you would expect with this guy being the promoter and being the headline of this fight, it's his card. Almost everything points towards him winning that fight, even if you knock him down every round. That's what happens in boxing.
Well, like I said, when I knew he was timid, I said, you know what? He can't fight going towards his right. He goes to his left to a power shot. But if you stay towards his jab hand and force him to go the opposite way, he cannot fight going the other way. And it showed in the fight when I'm knock him out. Cause see, a lot of guys, they look at my record and say, "Oh, he got one knockout, so he's not a big puncher." Cool. Every guy that I've been in ring with, I hurt. Yep. I'm not claiming to be a knockout artist. I'm a boxer. I'm a counter puncher by nature. So when I saw him, I said, "You know what? I could get him." He looked tired. I heard him, and he looked shell shocked. He like, I didn't see this coming. Yeah, I was so ready for the fight. I was ready for it.
And as an aside, this picture right here was you and Robert Helenius when he was still undefeated when we were in February. He showed up. Yeah. He was in our locker room. Cool dude. Yeah. Very cool dude.
Yeah.
We went to dinner with him the day before. He was at the grocery store. This is the shot right here during a little promotion before the fight. And he was in our locker room wishing us luck and the whole deal. He came out with us. So, he was actually on our side going into the ring, unless he played us. But guess who got played by Deontay Wilder, as a side note. But I tell you what, this B-side game, man, and, and by the way, there's other things that happen when you're on the B-side. You get all these, people come at you with these different offers that don't sound legitimate, but you're kind of desperate at times. You don't know too much about the game itself. You think you know until you're actually in there having to battle these lions and liars. And one of the things I want to talk about, and as well, someone who will remain nameless came to us and told us that if we had given them $10,000, they would have taken us down to the Dominican Republic, and you would have gotten 17 wins with 17 knockouts in, I think, about 3 months. They would have brought you back to the United States, and within a year and a half, they would have given you an opportunity at a title of a section of body they were in charge of or had influence in. And by doing that, the major bodies would pretty much put you down because you were in their rankings, they'll put you in their rankings. And ultimately, over a 5-year period, you'd at least get a shot at something. You'll at least be a contender and the money would be better. These are the stories and the things that they sell you as a B-side fighter when it seems almost impossible. Now, I do know fighters get moved like that on occasion, but that came to us. We had absolutely nothing. 10 grand. Shoot, we trying to fight for 10 grand, not pay 10 grand.
Okay, right? Yeah, that is true. I've been offered that multiple times to 5, 10 grand, 15 grand to give that to the matchmaker, and they would set me up for fights overseas.
Yeah.
In Colombia or whatever they want to put me at, where I could just go there, fight, and build my record up, which is cool because I got a friend who has done that, and he has a nice record, but we know he's not that good, as the record says. And
I think Floyd Mayweather made this popular, having these undefeated records. Now, Floyd has talent, there's no question about it. And he picked his fight perfectly, and he fought great fighters in some cases. He fought good fighters in a lot of cases. He fought just fighters. Yeah. But his talent level shows that he could have been in there with anyone. No, I'm not going to go back to if he could have beaten Ray Leonard and Hearns and all that other stuff. He fought who he fought. He did what he did. But he set the impression for younger guys who are very impressionable in the fight game of being undefeated. And they're so careful about that undefeated record that we're missing out on big fights. You know what I'm saying? But without these B-side guys, I mean, look, if you know your boxing, Freddie Pendleton, the former IBF champion at lightweight, was a B-side guy until he got with the right people. I think he had like 15 losses. And then he gets into the A side. He wins a title. I mean, Pernell Whitaker beats him, but the guy became a champion because of who he was with. And a lot of times when it comes down to A side, B side, it's who you're with. You cannot be broke and think you could waltz yourself into the fight game and make things happen. They will either freeze you out if you're good enough or steal you if you're too damn good.
Yeah, yeah. They that's a boxing business, man. It's very tricky, man, because they will if you're too good and to a point where they feel like you're boring, they will kind of like whiteball you. They'll whiteball you to a point where yeah, you're good, but we don't want you on our show, and it'd be hard for you to find a fight. Now, if you go and knock out the guys that they put in front of you, then they might say, you know what, we might have something, with you. But then again, you gotta be careful because they'll sell you faster than you think of.
Now, out of all the fighters you fought, who was the strongest fighter? I already have one in mind because I was there for that fight. But who was the strongest fighter up to this point in your career that you fought? Now, you remember you started off at 140. Now you're fighting as high as 156 and probably even higher.
The strongest fighter I ever fought was Emmanuel Pinky Cologne.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the guy I had in mind because this guy, I mean, he doesn't look the part, but that guy's hands are like bricks. I mean,
Yeah. He when he hit me, I thought to myself like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah. You know what? I never even saw you dazed in the gym before. And I've watched you since your amateur days. I watched you as a pro. I mean, I've watched you spar against bigger dudes. I mean, whether it's Kurt the Hurt, who's here in Jacksonville, you spar with him or you spar with other light heavyweights or middleweights, super middleweights, never got dazed or anything. So when he caught you with that temple shot in the first round and you went down, you went down, I was like, that had to have been a slip. But when you got up and stumbled, I was like, yo, that was a real shot. And then it went off from there. But you finished the fight and the whole deal. And in fact, I think you won the fourth round, the last round of the fight. You finally got your bearings about. But that's when the headbutts started. Let's talk about those headbutts.
Oh yeah, yeah. He got mad because I was holding him because he wanted to knock me out, and I was just saying, "No, I'm gonna hold you like you're my girlfriend."
Yeah.
So I could get my legs together and regain my conscience. And he got mad and he pushed me, and he headbutted me intentionally. So he lost a point too.
See,
but I went to that fight, the first round. I went there too comfortable.
That point I wanted to make because
yeah.
let them know exactly what happened in terms of everything. You know what? This is a learning experience, and we shouldn't be learning on a job with a game this dangerous. And that day, everything went wrong. I mean, I don't want to make excuses because I hate excuses. Boxers always come with excuses. But I lived this life here. When we were together in that hotel, we slept all day. We didn't do anything. It was snowing like crazy up there. It was cold up there in the whole nine. The head trainer, Coach Mark, he comes up late from Orlando. He's not even there when we wrapping hands. Someone else wants to wrap our hands, and we're not even having it because we're like, yo, something's up. You know what I mean? Everything you forgot your cup. You forgot your cup.
Yeah.
Everything was wrong. I mean,
it was just like I said, man, he was very, very strong, very aggressive. Like you said, I spar heavyweights and light heavyweights. I'm like, man, they can hurt me, he can hurt me.
Yep.
I was wrong. He come in a good spot because I didn't see it coming. He came in very aggressive. Yeah. Boom, caught me in a good shot. I went down. I'm like, I wasn't even hurt. I'm like, what happened? So I got up and my leg was like spaghetti. I'm like, oh shoot. And he was coming to finish me. And once again, it's learning on the job, man. It's a lot of things that I didn't think about. But I was able to regain my conscience by moving around. I said, I'm gonna move. I'm not gonna sit here and let him bang on me like he did everybody else.
But that's an experience. I mean, that's part of the experience you learned to even get to this point. I mean, come on, that was 2014, and now we're in 2023. That was one of the lessons you had to learn to get to this point to where you're going to Detroit, beating one of their guys 2 times in a row, and all the other fights you had in between that you won or were completely robbed. At least you're one of these fighters who can acknowledge, you know what? I lost fair and square. There's no BS
Yeah.
to it. But then you can also take the good with the bad and say, bro, I was robbed. There was one fight in New
Oh
York
yeah.
in which you fought a fighter to where his people afterward were saying that you won the fight. His people were saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. I fought this Irish kid from New York, and was it he a southpaw, and at that time my gym was full of southpaws. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect for me because everybody got here is southpaw. So it's gonna be a great experience. And when I went up there, um, yeah, he didn't see that one coming because I'm like, yeah, I see a record. It got you as a knockout artist somewhat, but I see your weakness.
Yeah.
And I saw when he lost, and lost again. And I said, you know what? I see your weakness. I know I'm doing that. To the point where I beat him, and instead of giving him an L, it gave me a draw. So I'm like,
Yep.
I
It
won
was a
that
draw.
fight. Yeah. Even in Canada, Canada was the same way. Had this young up and coming kid, and I beat him. I boxed him. They gave me a draw. I said, what's going on here? I see what's going on here. Because look, they don't want to give these guys a L if you don't knock them out. They don't
Nope.
want to.
Nah. It throws their career off track these days. In
Yeah,
this day and
yeah,
age, one loss pretty much ruins you in a lot of cases.
yeah,
Mike
yeah, yeah.
Jones, look at
Because
Mike Jones losing to Randall Bailey, man. I mean, he lost the fight afterwards too, and his career was over since 2014.
yeah, to all the young fighters, if you get hurt, don't stand up and try to fight the guys to show that you're man or you shoot strong. You get knocked down, stay down, collect your
Like Ryan
thoughts,
Garcia.
get back, yeah, get back up, take a deep breath, and move. Don't stand right there. Don't let them bang on you. You're not a punching bag. Just move around so you can regain your conscious. Hold if you got to until you get your legs back underneath you. So that's a good lesson for y'all young fighters.
Yeah, so before we go, we got a few minutes left. What would you tell fighters that will prevent them from going on the B side? Now, the first thing they need to do is have their amateur game refined to where they're being
Yeah.
looked at and being recruited by some of these bigger promoters or people with money who can facilitate a legitimate move towards something big in boxing.
I tell young fighters, I said they asked me about, yeah man, I'm gonna turn pro. I said, look, before you turn pro, get as many amateur fights you can so you can see different style, different height, weight, sizes. You see everything different, and you get used to. You can see where you're located as far as the fighting. How good you're at one part, what part you need to work on. Can you deal with a power puncher? Can you deal with a guy who come forward? Can you deal with speed? And I tell them, I said, the more amateur fights you have, the better you will be as we turn pro.
Mm-hmm. It
And
seems like common
and I
sense,
said,
but they don't do that. They're rushing after
yeah,
money.
yeah,
That's not even there.
yeah. And I tell us, look, if you're drinking, you're doing drugs, or you got multiple girlfriends or boyfriends,
Distractions.
you're not gonna get far. You know, I think a lot of people don't understand. We have a lot of girlfriends or a lot of boyfriends. You have your player in boxing that messes you up just as bad as if you're doing drugs
Yep.
because it messes up your mental. You can't think when you think, oh man, who should mess with while I'm out of town? Dude, we got a fight coming up.
If you're
or
serious, that is.
you,
If you're
yeah,
serious, you
oh
gotta
yeah,
be serious.
and you got multiple baby mamas. It's gonna hurt you, man, because guess what? You fight child support. So I tell all young fighters, have you one girl or one guy, stay true to that person. If not, stay single. Stay single, wrap
Marry
it up.
boxing. Marry boxing.
Yeah. If you serious about this, you gotta marry boxing. You're gonna learn to hate it, to love it, and love it to hate it.
Yep. And with that said, that's good advice. Right on time. We're about 30 minutes, and that's what I wanted it to be. I'd like to thank Andre the Boxer for coming in, showing us what that B side is about. Hey, he's got his wins on that side too. You know what? He just ended up on the B side. He still gets his wins against these A guys. He ruins careers along the way, just like other people on the B side who's beating these A side guys. But I'm glad he was able
Yep.
to come in today and give you firsthand knowledge of how it goes in the boxing game. I wish we could do a little bit more of this kind of a thing because his story is not exclusive, but we got an exclusive today. And I'm glad that you were able to join us. So for Andre the Boxer and myself, yo, Trav Sports Bag, thanks for joining us. And we'll catch you another time, more than likely on another boxing broadcast with Bias and Lord more likely in tow. Until next time.
Peace.
Yes.